I'm Jeff Ferris, President and CEO of CloudRadial. Mark Aleyev, CEO of Thread, here today to talk about service delivery and how it can be substantially better than today. So first off, talk with just the basic introductions for people that haven't seen CloudRadial, don't know where we stand. CloudRadial is the one and only CSA, Client Services Automation Platform. Our job is to bring all of the client touch points into a single pane of glass for your clients, bringing together a broad range of your existing stack in an automated way into transparency for your clients. CloudRadial, again, there's a broad product, it's a broad platform. And if you look at it, our job is to bring together the expertise from clients, from partners, from ourselves, from our integration partners. And our goal is to drive collaboration by bringing that expertise and engagement together in one place. CloudRadial, the web is where you should be and now can be living with your clients. Now, Mark, let's talk about a little bit about Thread.
Yeah, absolutely. So we also focus on the customer side, and we are a service collaboration platform. So what we are is we're a platform to connect MSPs, IT service providers with their customers using service collaboration. It is multiplayer. And so we do things from chat and both from Slack, Teams, as well as desktop clients. We're the other half of the web, the portal side. So we provide real-time communication, and these are our pillars: power threads, pods, swarming, and co-managed services. All right, so one thing that we see, and why I'm so excited to be here on with Jeff and CloudRadial, a lot of our customers that do know us, we oftentimes hear about CloudRadial, and we start to think about, like, what is the big difference and how have things evolved through time? And so what we're seeing right now is that users' expectations of how they use technology to interact with one another has changed dramatically. With Microsoft Teams, I think up to like 75 million users today, and Slack is 7th just in the business applications. And remote from work from home or work from anywhere now is a top priority. We're seeing that a ton. And aside from that, SaaS applications have created a sprawl of cloud apps for businesses. And so what we're also seeing is that that's created a tremendous increase in the amount of tools that MSPs are using to support their customers. However, we go to the next slide, we are still seeing that even though we're using a lot of tools as MSPs to service our customers, email and phone is still the default service option, which is extremely antiquated. And that's why the title here is it's IT services in 23 being delivered like it's 1999. I think that's when the PSAs introduced the email connector, was 1999, and so it's been a little while, let's say, since they've iterated there. Now, the part with phone and email that we find ironic is that it is the most expensive way to deliver services. Emails are non-rich; they typically lack the information to power any meaningful automation, and phone calls tie up the technician. So they actually are, they can't work many requests, and they can't do a lot there. I want to pause there, and I know, Jeff, you and I speak about this a lot, but I'd love for you to share your thoughts on 1999.
Well, it's almost like it's 2021, right? Or 2019, kind of the pre-COVID. People were in offices, they were used to that more structured day environment. And the email and phone is not where people live anymore. Email is the types of things you use when you really can't reach them some other way, right? Phone, chat, I mean, those are the things. Even phone, I mean, I can't even remember the last time I used my phone as a phone. So again, the chat piece of it, online experiences, the combination of portal and chat is just the way people live today. It may not have been the way they lived 4 years ago, but it's the new normal.
Yeah, and we were talking with Jeff that we're going to make a comic book about portal and chat against email and phone as the new age superheroes. One thing that we hear from our MSPs that have deployed chat, or what we call a threaded solution, is she owns a large MSP up in Canada, and she actually bought a car on chat, a Mercedes, a $40,000 purchase. And it's incredible that, you know, users are becoming more trusting of it, and they feel like it is a very comfortable way to do it because it's asynchronous on their schedule. You may want to chat now or respond a little bit later. And so I think it's a much more comfortable way that's customer oriented. And anyone who knows Jeff will attest that the customer experience is the most important thing, as I pick up his book about the ultimate customer experience. So we think, our hypothesis and what we've been hearing from the market is, how do we combine these two? How do we make them work a little bit better in order to provide the next gen of the customer experience?
Yeah, and that, so CloudRadial now has been around for about 5 years. We launched probably a year or something after Teams was announced and went live. And very shortly after it went live, some of the early adopter MSPs that were very focused on growing their client engagement. I mean, that's always been kind of our strong suit as MSPs that are focused on their clients. You know, but very early in that process, one of our first and most forward-thinking MSPs reached out and said, look, what are you doing with Teams? What can you do with Teams? We're moving to Teams. We want our customers in Teams. And how do we get there? Well, this was, 4.5 years ago. And the answer then was, we'd love to do a lot of things, but Teams wasn't ready then. I mean, Teams didn't have the full API, the bot API. There was a lot of things that, again, if you watch the history of Teams, and especially the pace of change lately, it's a very fascinating tool. But also the whole world of chat is evolving. Again, so we've integrated with a lot of chats over time. We've supported Thread for a long time. And what we find is that people can get close to the experience that they want, but they can't get all the way. And so as we look at is what our clients or what our partners are asking for, chat and chat integration, Teams integration is actually our #2 most requested feature request. But as we also delved into this on the backend side, we found that chat, to do it correctly, is hard. And there's a lot of moving pieces. Teams moves fast, Slack moves fast, the web moves fast. And we didn't have the expertise in-house to really do that the right way. And so pleased to announce that today we're rolling out CloudRadial certified chat, basically Thread, but with a twist. And one of the things that we're focused on is making sure that this integration is different than the other integrations we've worked on, because now doing maybe 24 different integrations with different vendors directly, a lot more indirectly. What we find is that the integration experience can be quite different. And so what we're focused on with our certified chat, with really Thread is our solution there, is that what we want to be able to deliver is a solution that is seamless, right? Again, if you think about chat and the online experience, they do go hand in hand. And as Mark and I have talked over the years, what we found is we have an increasingly common client base, partner base, simply because the partners that are focused on building out and enhancing that client experience are focused on all elements of that client experience, not just portal and not just chat, but a combination of those two. So we're working to basically build as unified product as we can through these two separate development teams, building together to create a desktop experience, a web experience, a Teams experience that isn't a CloudRadial experience. It's not a Thread experience. It's your experience, and it's highly engaged and it's seamless. The other piece to that is again, working through the integrations. Not only is there needs to be a nice seamless nature to everything, but there also needs to be for partners, there needs to be a tight integration on the business side of our organizations. And what we found, again, after doing so many different integrations, is that just technically doing the integration and rolling it out isn't sufficient, especially for something as rich and complicated and as full of potential as chat and the client portal. And so in the certified approach, what we're doing is we're working together at every functional level of our organizations, in sales and implementation, in support, to create a seamless experience that you'll be able to buy directly from CloudRadial as well. What we see together, again, anecdotally, we've been able to accomplish a lot with the limited integration we've had in the past, but we know we can do better, right? And so to date, the benefits have been really impressive. On the chat side, it's been really impressive on the CloudRadial side, and now we're combining all those things to a nice, seamless experience. We're allowing partners to meet their clients where they work. And again, they're not typically working in their inbox as much. They're working on the web, they're working in Teams, they're working in Slack, and now the partners can be there right there beside them with their own solution embedded, not off to the side, but embedded with the way they're doing the business. And so again, what we're doing is we're allowing partners to address what we think is a much bigger budget potential by addressing their staff productivity and by driving those solutions up. And so really excited about this deep integration. And now the good stuff that you want to see is how it works together and how seamless it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. So really excited to be the launch partner of CloudRadial Certified Chat. CloudRadial has been kind enough to provide us with some private APIs to make that happen and to give us that access, because you're absolutely right, Jeff. I think there's a huge nuance to building, not only portal but chat for MSPs, ensuring that there's proper integration with PSAs, but also to ensure, like you said, the big nuance is that we're not building a CloudRadial product or a Thread product. We are both building a product that is fully white labeled, that ultimately represents the MSPs that they're showing that to their customers. So I do want to talk about the number one requested thing from our mutual customers that I think everyone will love is the automatic login and push notifications. So in the past, you've been able to embed it, and we were able to pull up the email, but you would always have to enter the verification code. That was another piece of friction that you would have to go through as a customer in order to get a chat. Today, once we launch this certified chat, the experience is going to be amazing, magical, in the sense that it automatically logs you in. It is secure, so we will validate with CloudRadial that the user is who they say they are, but they get to chat right away. So even if you open up a service experience, a service request inside of CloudRadial, you'll see that chat appear in Thread, and you have the ability to go ahead and to communicate in Thread. That will automatically synchronize back into the portal. All of this on the MSP side will be recorded back into the PSA. So that's incredibly powerful, low barrier to entry. It's an amazing customer experience. Now, this is a funny one, but if you've rolled out CloudRadial Desktop, the chat is a little bit, or was a little bit funny, because you may be chatting, but they don't know that you're responding. So they being the customer. And so we did already launch sounds. So you may see that customers are finally responding a little bit better. But again, CloudRadial has exposed private APIs for us in the certified version that allows for us to get them native notifications from their operating systems. So if they're in Windows will now send them a notification to let them know that we are responding. This is a huge part of getting that efficiency gain that Jeff was talking about, because as we all know, if we ask our customers, hey, can I remote into your PC? That typically takes a long time by email to get a response to. Now we can go ahead and inside of the CloudRadial desktop, let them know it, play a beautiful sound, get that response, resolve the issue, driving a 30% reduction in what we've seen in time to resolve. Now, the point about collaboration, CloudRadial does have a phenomenal Teams app builder today that is available to you. We focused on the other side, and like Jeff said, the APIs weren't available for Microsoft for a long time as they reskinned Skype into Teams, but those APIs are available now. And so we worked on the bot side of that Teams app. And today we're announcing the unified Teams app, where the portal page is going to be powered by CloudRadial with the automatically authenticated thread app inside. But also on the chat tab, we have our own thread bot, which is really exciting because what we've noticed, and to the point about asynchronous chat, is you may not, you may click away from that tab because it's an iframe. You can't see that push notification, and so you stop responding to those. You stop responding to those messages. And so what we're able to do here is we actually appear as a bot inside of your Teams environment. And so the customer gets notified about the message and they can respond right in line. What's also really cool about the bot is if they do ask about something that you have a beautiful form for in CloudRadial, the bot can actually send you a link to that form. So it will push you back into the portal whenever it needs more information or needs to get more context. I'm personally really excited about this. I know a lot of people have asked this about this, and we've had to manually kind of glue it together. But I think with your portal and our bot, it's going to be a great fit. I don't know if you want to add anything on that, Jeff, before we jump into the Service Copilot, but everyone's talking about GPT, so I'm happy to talk about it too.
Hey, Mark, we have a few questions that have come in that might be good to answer in light of the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see which ones. There's a bunch of them.
yeah, I can field them a little bit. So Mark was asking, is the chat integration only in the CloudRadial desktop app, or is it in the web app and Teams app as well? I think we talked about it, but just to double down.
Yeah, so it is across all three. It does work differently, so it uses the best APIs across those. So with CloudRadial desktop, automatic authentication, including the new push notifications. On the web, we're using the web-based push notifications, automatic authentication. And on the Teams app, we are both integrated with Microsoft. So we're both using the Microsoft authentication. And so you'll have that.
Awesome. We have another question asking if you can transfer chats from a dispatcher or account manager to an assigned tech when you're in inbox.
You absolutely can. So you'll be able to reassign to that person. The person will get notified in inbox, in my inbox. If you're integrating on the MSP side, we do have a Teams app and Teams bot for that as well. So they'll get notified through the Teams bot to let them know that they've now been assigned and they can continue to chat.
Awesome. Jeff, we've got one for you. Chris is asking, can you make those private APIs available to all CloudRadial MSP customers who wish to develop their own integrations and desire richer integration capabilities?
We are working on building out the API capabilities, but as we found, we still need some work to do to build out kind of a robust API that's available and understandable by all. The stuff we're doing with Thread has become, again, it's deeply technical, not too technical for most people, but again, it just requires a lot of work on our side to surface it out. And there's a lot of, a lot of custom work and custom code that's there to specifically support Thread as opposed to the generic implementation. So it is a goal to roll out a more robust API, but I don't have any sort of ETA for that.
And if I can add, Chris, we're basically the guinea pig to make sure that the API reaches public maturity, and then I'm sure we'll iron it out, and CloudRadial will be able to make it more public.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, we may get into this, but I think just talking about how Inbox works a little bit overall, I think there's a lot of questions about how to manage the chat threads.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the thread side, we do have an app that's designed for the technician. So to receive these live chats that are coming in, or live threads as we call them. And so you have the ability to route threads, and it doesn't have to be chats. However, it is the best tool for handling chats. So you can route it to different pods. You can handle it through tiers. if you have a triage or dispatch team, you can create workflow rules that let you route it to the right place. And then from there, you have the ability to respond to it. And it does a lot of integration with the PSA, automatically assigned, starts a timer. You have the ability to change status. You have default responses in there. So it's really streamlined on being able to respond through there. And it's a full bidirectional sync with the PSA, which is really cool because CloudRadial also does a bidirectional sync. So anything you do through Inbox will also appear in CloudRadial. That's, of course, external. We do support more private things like internal notes straight from Inbox. You can also handle emails, portal requests, everything from Inbox. It is real time, live. And so you'll see as soon as you start handling chats there, the use case continues to grow.
Yeah, one of the things to kind of highlight too, there's a lot to this combination. There's a lot to Thread. There's a lot to CloudRadial, and much more than we can do justice to in the time we have here. One of the things that I think we've got this link here for signing up for more information. Certainly, we'll provide more information. We'll provide more working demos and videos in the upcoming weeks. But if you're interested in getting on kind of the fast path to get this solution demoed and get it in trial inside your own environment, either Thread customer adding CloudRadial or a CloudRadial customer adding Thread, be sure and sign up here at this link. There is special promo pricing available that will get people into the product a little more affordably, at least for this month. And again, there's a lot here to see. I mean, the inbox alone is a great product. It's a great tool to bring together that unified communication solution. Thread works really well for that, to build out a better tech solution for bringing all that stuff together. And again, all of the stuff they do integrated with the PSA, we integrate with the PSA. If you look at the solution going forward, there's no fighting, right? The PSA, the Thread, CloudRadial, we all work very seamlessly together from your side, and then also from the client side, to create this really easy to implement. Well, I don't say easy to implement, but easy to understand solution for your clients.
Absolutely. And I think there's a bunch more questions. Do you mind going back one slide? I think I do want to talk a little bit about the GPT integration, which is people are really loving. It's our service co-pilot. And what we also do is, because chats and portals provide for more structured forms of communication, we can do a lot of automation, right? So I mentioned before, we could detect the word onboarding and give you a CloudRadial onboarding form link, or request, I need a new PC, and we could see that and give you that form. One of the things that we found incredible efficiencies in of this new generative AI coming into the MSP space is we can actually automatically summarize the conversation that you're having with the contact, and we're able to create that time entry for you. So as soon as you start responding, we start the timer, you continue to converse back and forth. And then at the end of that, when you change the status, you stop the timer, you click one button, and it writes that whole summary for you. This saves an average of, again, I'm preaching to the choir, but we see that it saves an average of 5 minutes per service request. And if you're handling and knocking out 10 things per day, that's 50 minutes per technician. That adds up, multiplied by the number of texts, multiplied by the number of days. So this is an extremely, this is just not possible with phone and email, is the reality of it. You need something that's real time and rich in order to be able to get enough context to start generating things like this. So just wanted to circle back on that, because I think that's something unique for portal and thread-based communication.
Well, I think it also points to the richness of the solution that you offer. It's a testament to the richness of the solution that we work through together. Again, there's a lot of pieces that can go together to, again, save labor efficiency. I mean, one of the things we were talking about earlier is labor shortages that are that are ongoing in the MSP space. Super critical on trying to be able to resolve issues in consistent and documented ways. Again, a phone call, it's kind of hard to log that and see if the technician did what they were supposed to do. Chat, you've got the logs, you've got transparency about what's going on. And then things like Chatgpt, this OpenAI interface, again, it's just a small snippet of the productivity savings you can see. And again, what I like about this integration between the two companies is, again, it's at every level, and especially in development. So one of the things that we expect to see going forward is further improvements, a richer experience, because again, technology is not sitting still, and neither are we, right? And so again, as technology offers up new capabilities to save labor, to work more effectively with clients, to do more collaborative things, to basically get the answers and give them the answers as much as possible. Again, having this rich integration between web, between chat, and providing this collaborative space, this unified collaborative space for partners and their clients is just going to become the new normal going forward over the next few years.
Absolutely, and it looks like we have a lot of questions here, Jeff, in the chat. Bobby, I don't know if we can go to the questions and answer. I think we could tackle on a lot of these as well. So there's a question about which PSAs do we support. I know, again, CloudRadial is a very robust product with a lot of integrations. We're just starting on that side. So on our side, we currently support ConnectWise, Manage, and Autotask. Autotask is almost at parity. There is support for BMS just for chats. If you're looking to do all other service requests, it has partial support. So I would say ConnectWise and Autotask work best right now.
Yeah, there's another question, Mark, just kind of around best practices. An anonymous attendee asked a question saying, I could see if you have a split environment of a normal service desk and then kind of a dispatcher for the fastest answers, this would work, but how do you work this in, which probably most people on this webinar are operating as a normal MSP service desk? How do you incorporate chat into that without it being instant responses?
Yeah, and that's a great question, right? Because we've seen different types of service delivery models where it's like, hey, can we get a triage person or kind of lightning folks to knock things out within 15 minutes? And sometimes it takes obviously longer than 15 minutes to resolve. And so we're able to work, our workflow engine has a lot of capabilities around statuses and boards or queues. And so basically, as you're switching statuses to triage, new, and progress, we typically see if it switches to a certain status or moves to a certain queue, you can make it disappear from inbox and it moves to a queue inside of your PSA. And there you already know, you already start to understand better, okay, great, now this has to be scheduled for work. So as a dispatcher, I'm gonna go look at the scheduling module in Manage, and I'm gonna go schedule this out for somebody to reach out, a tier 2 tech or something like that. And so a lot of the workflow tooling is powerful in helping you to build a service delivery model that works for your company, because we know that not every MSP works the same. There are different approaches to it, but the workflow tool allows you to take different approaches.
Yeah, one of the things too, and I was real impressed because again, we've been working and integrating chat into CloudRadial for a long time, and one of the hesitations about, again, taking the next steps internally is the complexity of building, again, that unified environment for the service staff. Because again, it's easy to implement chat, any chat solution. It's hard to get the service team to keep that window open, right? And so what we've found with a lot of our partners is they implement chat, but then the service team never logs into it. They never use that as kind of their primary vehicle. So chat basically is always offline. And one of the things that, again, that's because these chats are designed typically without the MSP in mind. And one of the things that, again, it's really kind of blew me away about Thread and their solution is, again, designed from the ground up to be an MSP product, designed from the ground up to integrate with the PSAs. their solution solves a huge problem on the service desk, which is who's in charge of chat, right? And I think with their unified inbox, it's a very powerful way to manage tickets. It's a very easy way to kind of see that unified view of PSA and chat in the same view, without having to like have two different web windows open, one for chat, one for PSA, and then hopefully everybody's paying attention to the different windows. And what we found in practice is chat was never implemented really that well. And Thread is the first one really we've seen that allows an MSP to not really completely rebuild their service desk or reorient their service desk around chat. They can just seamlessly, I think, integrate it into the existing processes.
Hey, one topic that might be fun to talk about, we've had a question or two in the chat about it, is how can these be used together and co-managed, or if you're working with an internal IT department?
Yeah, that is a great question. That's one of the pillars of service collaboration for us, because it's the ultimate collaboration when you're working with the internal IT team at the customer site. And of course, co-managed contracts tend to be very, very healthy. So it's something that we definitely help to solve. So based on what we've seen, we do have the ability to create channels that are shared only to certain members. And so what you're able to do is you're able to share a subset of your threads, which are essentially tickets in our collaboration platform, that are communication oriented, that the other IT team can see. So again, similarly to the way that you would do a handoff between the PSA and inbox, you have the ability to do a handoff between the co-managed customer and yourself. So we have workflow rules that can say, if it's after 5, route it to our service desk. If it's between 9 to 5, route it to the internal IT team, which is oftentimes what we see. Or if they need to escalate it to a network admin or a server administrator, because you change the status to something, or we have the ability to not only move it to a different channel that's being watched by those teams, but also to change the board and to perform more things like that. We do also have the ability to stand up a separate inbox for that company. So if you want to give them multiple channels, that might be a great way to do it by leveraging like Streamline API access from ConnectWise.
Yeah, and we've supported Streamline IT through for ConnectWise and Autotask, so you can set custom queues or boards for different clients. So again, we've always had the ability to work well, at least at CloudRadial, to promote that co-managed approach, because again, those are again not only lucrative contracts, there's just turning out to be a lot more of them, and for new logo acquisition, co-managed IT is just a rich field to go after. And again, between the portal piece and then the chat piece, again, that should be a differentiator. It should be a way to win that co-managed IT space, because basically you're empowering them to those internal IT people to perform better with a better set of tools than they could really generate and promote for themselves.
Yeah, we love that topic.
Yeah, that's a lot of the questions in the chat. There's some more specific ones. Jeff, there was a question from James about when the Mac OS client's coming out, what the timeline there is.
So so our short approach right now is that the Teams approach is the best way to reach multi-platform. Teams works on Linux, on Mac, on Windows, on the phone, on tablets. So, the Teams has become its own, in a sense, operating system inside an operating system. And so we support the Teams interface, and that's a great way to get all of that stuff to the clients. Microsoft has new technologies coming out for basically a unified client experience. And so we're continuing to investigate those. But there's no timeline on the Mac desktop piece. Again, that works great on the web and it works great in Teams. So I don't know that we have any additional announcements to make on the Mac side today.
Okay, cool. No worries. I know a lot of people are kind of talking about a live demo and what it looks like to use them together. I'm posting some Loom videos in the chat. I just posted one of what it looks like to have Thread in Loom. I posted a quick demo of Thread earlier. So yeah, we are happy to follow up. Make sure you fill this form out and we will grab time to get into specifics with anybody. And when I say we, I mean CloudRadial and Thread together, because this is not just website integration. It is a very formal partnership that we're super excited about.
Yep. Again, be sure and sign up. Again, we'll reach out to you through that form. I think that's a great way to start the conversation. We'll continue to update you with more resources, with more updates. We know we have a lot to build out on the support side, on the implementation side, on the sales side. Again, we just think this is just where we start. Thread and CloudRadial go way back. We've been, clients have been pushing us together for years. And finally the timing, and technologies all align for us to be able to do that. And again, I couldn't be more pleased with this opportunity. And I can't tell you how excited I am about partnering with Thread to take that ultimate client experience and take it to just a whole nother level. And again, when you take that client, that service experience to that next level, you refine the service experience. Again, you're just squeezing time out of everything. You're making things more efficient, more productive, and you're starting to really get into the things that clients care about. Again, Mark and I, we've got numerous stories, but individually and now to collectively, about how new logos, new business is very reachable with this new approach. I mean, when you lead with the fact that that you do security, that's important. But, when you lead with the fact that you're going to work with those clients, be engaged with their clients, be accessible to those clients, that's a huge differentiator. That the combination of accessibility and transparency is just a way to win new business. And so not only is this partnership exciting, I think, for us, we think at the end of the day, it's going to be super exciting for you, especially if you get that first new customer that's blown away by the way you can interact with them. Your clients, your potential clients, have never seen this before. And so when you show it to them, especially if you're the first one to show it to them, it's a great way to seal that deal. So if there's no more questions, then we'll get back to getting this webinar out, to getting more information out. Again, I encourage everyone to sign up for the forum. Let us reach out to you so we can have focused conversations, get you the right demos, get you set up in the CloudRadial environment, get you set up in the Thread environment, and let you see for yourself, and get you to a point where you can show a client what it would be like with this new setup. And again, we know that once you show the clients, there's no going back. So thanks for everybody's time today. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Bobby. And again, I'm super excited to be working with you guys. So
likewise. And thank you so much for all those questions to everyone else.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Take care.